This is Matt from MGMT Boston. On this episode of The Lantern, we are with friend of the program, co-founder and CEO of HYCU, Simon Taylor. There's been a lot going on in this business throughout the course of 2025, so we're here to talk about it. First and foremost, Simon, what is HYCU? What are you and your team building?
Well, first, Matt, welcome back to the office. It's great to see you here. HYCU stands for Hybrid Cloud Uptime, and we are the world's #1 leader in SaaS data protection. So very simply, we back up and recover data across on-prem, public cloud, and SaaS. Think about your Salesforce, your Office 365, your Google, Azure, AWS. HYCU protects all of it. We've got 4,600 customers in 78 countries around the world.
Yeah, and a lot has happened this year. The AIification of everything is well underway. So give us some highlights from this year, and then as we turn the page into 2026, what are you talking about with your team?
Well, first and foremost, I'll say a huge congratulations to the whole team at HYCU. We just had 100% year-over-year growth for the last quarter.
Awesome.
So it's been fantastic to see the team really come together, embracing the story, getting out there, pushing the SaaS data protection. But we've also built some terrific partnerships. I think the last time we spoke, we had just inked the new relationship with Dell.
That's right.
And a new relationship with iManage as well. And I'll tell you, those relationships could not be better. Our friends at Dell are now actively selling HYCU, and we're really partnering together to make sure that we bring together all the value of their data domain product, which is right here in Massachusetts.
Definitely.
And we're pulling that together with HYCU and selling that around the world. So big shout out and thank you to guys like Lipsky, Carrera, Cordona, all the different folks that we work with over at Dell. Mm-hmm. The second big relationship that we're super proud of is our relationship with a company called iManage. Now, if you're not a lawyer and you're not in the legal space, you might not be as familiar with iManage, but they're actually the company that protects and supports and manages almost all of the legal documentation. Think about every case that happens in the world of law. A company called iManage is almost like the content management system for all of those cases. Well, they reached out to HYCU. My good friend Neil, who's the CEO of iManage, and I built a great partnership, and we're now the only company in the world to protect them.
That's awesome.
So we've grown that business about 500% in just the last 3 months. So it's been phenomenal to see sort of those partnerships evolve. It's been incredible to see the way our team's been reacting to that growth. Couldn't be prouder of the work we've achieved, and obviously it all starts right here in Boston, Massachusetts, which we know and love.
Now, a lot has changed with regards to data and backup with AI, generative AI, and sort of all of that entails.
Yep.
As you turn the page to 2026, what are you talking about with your team? What are some of the big goals ahead that you're starting to set, at least in the planning phase?
Yeah, so here's what I'd say, and people always ask, how does AI affect data protection?
Sure.
And the reality, Matt, is that ransomware attacks, supply chain attacks, the incurgence of enormous amounts of cyber warfare, as it were, are happening all over the world. And AI is only making it easier for our adversaries to attack us. And that's really where data protection comes in. We need to be at the forefront, helping customers to protect against things like supply chain attacks. We continue to be on the sort of the warpath with our central message that you've got to protect your SaaS. You've got to protect your AI workloads. All of these new wonderful LLMs, all of these new places that we're putting data, these new data sources, they require the same level of vigilance, the same level of protection as you would on-prem. Okay? And so I think what we're seeing more and more is people are starting to appreciate that.
Right.
They're starting to understand it. In fact, we just got back from Singapore where we met with the Singaporean government, and we're sitting there and they're talking a lot about all of the AI investments they've made. This is one of the most forward-looking countries in the world. And one of their central challenges was, what do we need to think about when it comes to data protection? And so I really applaud the people of Singapore, the government of Singapore, for taking that sort of forward-looking approach. We'd love to see more of that right here in the United States.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of work to be done still, but I think the education is getting there, and I think that we need to use AI for the good guys to protect that data.
Definitely. Now, as we think about all that has happened this year, and congrats on all the growth.
Thank you.
I'm sure you've learned a lot from sort of this year of scale, entering the new rung up the ladder that you continue to climb to. So what have you learned from this year, whether it's from a company building perspective, technology perspective, or even partnerships that you've been great about talking about,
Sure.
that you would share with other members of the Boston startup community?
Yeah, Matt, you and I have talked about this a little bit before, but when we talk about AI, we sometimes lose our own humanity.
Sure.
We forget that at the end of the day, it is all about the people.
Right.
The people who are our customers, the people who are our employees, the people who are our team members, partners. it all comes back to the people. And so I think the thing that we've seen here at HYCU as we've been growing is the absolute need to double, triple down on culture. And so for us, you know this, it always comes back to 3 words: authenticity, grit, empathy. We need to make sure that the core values that we embrace here at HYCU are things that go into our hiring process, they go into how we run the business, and they go into the fun as well. We can't forget in the world of artificial intelligence that human intelligence is still at the root of our humanity. It's the most important thing, and we've got to focus on the people. And I think we need to focus on the people not just in business, in politics, and in the rest of the world as well.
That's a longer conversation, but that is a great lesson for everybody. Now, last but not least, like, how can we help you? How can we help HYCU grow here in Boston and beyond as we enter 2026?
You know, there's been a lot of new initiatives I've seen recently online. I've actually been connecting with a gentleman named Nathan Spielberg, who's starting to talk a lot about 617. You know, that's our wonderful area code here in Boston. Yeah. I think that we're starting to see more of an IT and tech cluster emerging right here in Boston. I think people are starting to say Boston has all of the elements to build one of the world's most successful tech powerhouses as an industry. Biotech did it for years. We've talked about this before. And so I think what you're doing, you know, with your organization is helping to drive that message forward. So really, let's just do more of the same this year, but let's go harder. Let's go faster, let's go bigger. Let's get this tech community together so that we can be stronger as one. And I think the more that we do that, the more we make Boston just a terrific place to live and work, and the more better off we will be as a company.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This is Simon Taylor, the co-founder and CEO of HYCU. Congrats on all the growth. See you again next time.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Great to be here.